Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. In another report, I talked about how there's still some pretty good fishing right now. In fact, it can be great for some people if they get in the right place at the right time. Number one, the cold, the tremendous change from a really late summer that we've had into an early cold. The cold is really, it's affecting all of us right now because it's chilly. And those fish know it's chilly, and their habits change. But sometimes cold can stimulate an increase in feeding because those fish have a sense that winter is coming, and they have to feed up so that they can withstand the really cold water temperatures when their metabolism slows down so much. So now they can go on feeding binges. But let me tell you about some of the lures that I use this time of the year that have been successful for me, especially for largemouth bass and northern pike. And one thing that I have found, and I've said it over and over, is you can always count on fish to, I guess you could say, school up, to be in groups. And I don't care what time of the year. But this time of the year, I've noticed it even more. Largemouth bass that you usually can find solitary in a lot of cases in the weeds and waiting for fish to come by and so forth. This time of the year, I find them in bunches. And if you can find that bunch, you can do well. So what do you use? Number one, spinner baits still work great this time of the year, even though the fish will become slower and they won't be as aggressive a lot of times. Spinner baits are a great chase bait. They're a great lure to use to find fish because you can cover more water. You're constantly throwing them out, reeling them in, throwing them out, reeling them in. So you can cover a lot more water and you can find the fish just through fishing. If you don't have the graphs and everything, when you start getting strikes, you found the fish. Another lure, though, that requires a little bit different type of technique is a jig and pig or a swim jig with a trailer. Same thing, just a different name. Jig and pig is based more like on the technique of throwing out, letting the jig go down. It's a lead head jig, maybe a half an ounce, 3/8 of an ounce, with living rubber skirt, and then you put some kind of a rubber tail, soft plastic tail on it. You throw it out, you just kind of let it crawl along the bottom, and it looks like something that the fish would eat, and they eat it. Or a swim jig, same type of thing, but it has a different shaped jig head. You cast out and you kind of swim it back. You've just changed the technique using basically the same type of bait, but the jig head is more streamlined and it's designed more for swimming than plodding along the bottom. And then the third bait that really can work really well this time of the year, especially for largemouth, is a Senko worm. And again, using a Senko worm or a jig and pig really is about, first of all, knowing where those fish are, finding the little group, and then being able to patiently fish that little school of bass using a slower technique, which would be the Senko worm or the jig and pig. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.